Well, new this morning, Spokane Hoopfest just announced that they will be moving the event that is traditionally the last weekend of June to this upcoming fall. Joining me now live is Matt Santangelo, the executive director of Hoopfest. Matt, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Matt, I want to jump right in. Tell us about the decision to postpone Hoopfest to the fall.
We want Hoopfest so badly. Like, we want to do everything that we can in order to, enjoy an amazing world-class event, a hugely impactful event. And so when we start to reflect on, gosh, what gives us the best chance to actually execute the event, that was a longer timeline. I mean, that was really the simple way to answer your question, is that we wanted as much time as possible to create a safe event for the vaccines to get out there into the world, into the population, for everyone to be able to plan for a safe event. And that's why we ultimately decided to move to September 11th and 12th just this year. This is just a one-year move. However, like I said, just wanted to give us the best chance to win because we want that event as badly as everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a Spokane staple, a huge Spokane tradition. Talk about the economic impact. This is a huge driver for Spokane. Tell us about why you guys decided to move the event in terms of supporting the city also, because we know last year the city took a huge hit, not just because of Hoopfest, but really all across the board.
It does, and really the industries that we impact the most were ones that are still being negatively impacted by the pandemic, and that's the hospitality industry. Our hotels, our restaurants, even to our retail to a certain extent. And at the end of the day, we're a community organization. We're a small business, a small nonprofit business that have this, this awesome community event that generates roughly about a $50 million economic impact to our region. And those are businesses that need our help. They need our help today. And they need our help this year. And so, to be able to have something like a Hoopfest on the calendar, even though it's later in the year in September this year, is really important to us, too, because it's our way of giving back. One of the ways that we give back to our community is just holding the event so that we can have that impact. And so we're going to compete hard. We're going to compete. We competed all last year. We're going to compete all this year to hold a safe and healthy but in-person and impactful event.
Absolutely, yeah. The spirit of Hoopfest is definitely still alive. Matt, I want to ask you about, what the format will look like. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns, but people might be wondering, there were some lessons learned from 2020. What do you envision some of the changes could look like this upcoming fall? Obviously, it will look different. We know that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point that you bring up, because I want everyone to hear that we'll be working with the authorities, with the city of Spokane, with the regional health district, with the state health district to have a safe event. So we'll live within the guidelines that are kind of presented to us at the time of the event. That's why we're September, so we have a long time to see some of these phases change and for us to collectively get healthier. And so, last year we did a lot of legwork from a limited capacity event, a 50% event, to limited fans, to spaced out courts to create a little bit more social distancing between from court to court. And so we actually did a lot of the heavy lifting last year in the planning phases, so that whatever the world throws at us this year, if we can have an in-person event, we're kind of ready to roll. And so I think that that's important for everyone who's listening, not only to circle September 11th and 12th on the calendar, circle June 1st on the calendar. That's when team registration opens. But also to follow us, sign up for our e-newsletter, follow us on social media, because all those updates will be happening throughout the year. As we know more, you'll know more, and that will definitely impact kind of what the structure is of the tournament. And we will live within those guidelines as they're provided later on in the year.
Matt, anyone that knows you knows how much you love this event and how much you love our city. Talk to the people of Spokane and this area about what this event means and why you're so passionate about making sure that this event happens.
Well, I think, one of the things that we're missing out on right now, and we're all feeling it, right? We're all feeling it, is connection. We're missing that connectedness between, our friends, our family, and the broader community. And that's exactly what Hoopfest does. That Hoopfest did that for the last 31 years. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It brings people together. And so it brings people from all walks of life. They do it because they love the game of basketball or they're proud of the community of Spokane, be it athletes or volunteers or sponsors that support us. And so that's our, becomes our job. And I believe you nail on the head for me. I believe in the power of sport. I believe in the power of basketball to do that. And so I'm fortunate to be involved with an organization that does that on such a broad scale for our community. And that's why I say we're going to compete, because I believe in what we do. I believe in the value that we have, that we provide. And it's supposed to be fun. Like, it's another thing that we're all kind of missing out on right now is that connectedness and just kind of being able to come outside and have fun. And believe me, we can all use a little reprieve from the quarantine 15 too. So Hoopfest gets us in a little bit of shape, then everyone wins. Like, it's a good thing. So I think all those things really drive our value, our motivation, our inspiration here in the office, so that we can do that for the broader community. And it does take a community. Like, it takes all of us. That volunteer effort is huge, but it's a big reason why Hoopfest is Hoopfest.
I feel you on the quarantine 15, my friend, but also, the connectedness and just, we need the fun, like you said. We need community right now, and I think, Hoopfest is definitely that event. All right, Matt, before we go, one more time, tell us, what can folks expect in terms of what you guys will put out on social media and how they can stay engaged until this upcoming fall.
Yeah, so let's get on our e-newsletter. So go to our website, sign up for our e-newsletter. We are on social, all the major outlets on social, at Spokane Hoop Fest, also at Hooptown USA. Follow both those. We'll be running contests. We'll be getting outside here. We can start doing some smaller group things and getting people active and in the parks, but we'll be running, programs and things like that throughout the spring and summer in preparation for Hoop Fest in September. But for the volunteers, all those wonderful women and men that give so much to helping us with our event, volunteer registration opens up April 19th, so that's one date. Team registration opens up June 1st, that's another date. And then the event itself, September 11th and 12th, 2021. So those are the big takeaways for today. And of course, we'll be releasing things throughout the year, kind of building that hype and excitement and providing the information that we need to have a safe and healthy event in September.
All right, let's get pumped, everyone. Let's get hyped up and support Hoopfest 2021. And again, September 11th and 12th, the big new dates just announced this morning. All right, Matt Santangelo joining us live this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for having me on.